Alright, so welcome back to some more MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. Now, as you can tell, probably from the title or the thumbnail, this is a quad video for the most part. Kind of wanted to run a few laps here on the bike because I know a majority of the people here, including myself, like the bikes. I don't really have anything against the quads. It's just what I grew up doing. It's what I like in video games. So, running a few laps here on the CRF 450 at Savannah, which is a DLC track, just to throw some whips and scrubs and have some fun before we open up this video. But this video is going to be using the quad with the manual transmission, hitting some insanely big lines, some lines that I'm sure there's guys out there that can hit some of these lines on the bike, okay? There's some really great Supercross Encore players that can whip glitch really good and double preload really good, and just in general are really good at the game, even aside from, you know, using like the whip glitch, just getting in and out of the corners, just knowing the game really, really well. So I'm sure they could probably hit that. But if you wanted to try and hit these lines just for the fun of it, for the heck of it, you can always go and grab the 450 quad, put that baby in the manual transmission, and first gear clutch boost the heck out of it. If you throw like a little whip glitch in there, you can even go a little bit farther. The lines aren't really that practical, and it kind of evens itself out because the quad sometimes can be really, really hard to control. It gets, when you start clutch boosting, it kind of wants to slip and slide all over the track, and you get a little out of control. But the lines that you can hit, if you get straightened out at least, are insane. And we kind of run through the 2017 tracks here, most of them. Some of the tracks I didn't feel like had any lines worth showing. So that's what we're going to jump into. And if you're a quad guy, I hope you enjoy. If you're a bike guy, I hope you can enjoy the video as well. Alright, so this first line right here is Anaheim 1. You basically can jump in and jump out, which is crazy because on the bike, usually it's kind of 3 timings, I think, usually through that section. So, insane line. First gear, clutch boosting, guys. That's how it is. I'm using the 450 quad. This is the Suzuki LT 450, I believe. I think that's what it is. I think that's what we're using. And I don't use the quad very much. I'm not very good, but to do some of these things is crazy. This is San Diego. This line, you can kind of have that single into the corner, but I was casing, so I thought that worked easier. And then showing this big quad here. On the bike, it can be a little hard to get that sometimes. On the quad, it's too easy. Like I said in the beginning, this is just going to be the 2017 tracks, most of them. This is A2. This quad on the bike can be really, really tough. Not for everybody, okay? I'm not saying everybody, but for a lot of people, it can be really tough, myself included. On the quad, it's just, it's like nothing. It's nothing. You just clutch boost and preload. That's all you do. Leave it in first gear. I don't even see any reason to shift out of first. You can make this a fiver. A fiver. Yes, we kind of case, and yes, those are rollers, but still, just insane. And the most insane line here at A2 is the finish line, how we can just jump to the landing. You could probably even jump to that on-off, which is coming up right here. Insane line. Just insane. We didn't quite get it. I don't know if you actually can. I didn't try very hard, but either way, that's a huge line. Huge. Here we've got Phoenix kind of stepping over that table, and then you can have this double to go into the corner. That's a really fast line, and that's really the only one that I found that I felt like was a whole lot different compared to the bikes, or was at least a lot easier to get. Oakland, or is this Oakland? I think it is. This line's insane. Jump in, jump out. Insane. With the bike, it's so much different than that. It's just, you can see there are some advantages to using the quad. Now, what you're not seeing is where I'm getting all squirrely when you start clutch boosting, and that can get really hard to control. So, it does kind of even itself out. Let's see, this is Texas. This is Arlington. Arlington, kind of a similar line. I did have a double into the corner one time, but I cased doing that 4 quad or 5. I don't know how many it was, so kind of the only line there I could find. This line you can hit with the bike kind of easy. The quad here, or no, it'd be a quad triple, but it's just really easy on the quad, so I wanted to show it. This line I can't do on the bike. Quad, and then 5 or 6, I don't even know. It was a lot. That's insane. Atlanta, 2017, one of the lines that I felt like was definitely worth showing. The rest of them were pretty similar to the bike. This is Toronto, I believe. This line, it's pretty similar, but the jumping in, I don't know how many that was. I think we were jumping in one farther than we normally would, and really the only line here. Some of these tracks towards the end of the season were very similar, and I didn't feel like there was a lot else to show. This one at Indianapolis was insane, though, to have that double into the corner, jump in, jump out, crazy fast. Now, we did hit this line on the bike when we were doing our reviews of the replicas, but it was a whole lot harder to hit. On the quad, simple, super simple. This line at Seattle, you can hit on the bike, kind of medium. I mean, I can get it, if I do 10 laps, I bet I can get it 3 or 4 times, so less than 50% of the time, but on the quad, you can get that thing like every time. Insane. This line is crazy, still at Seattle, super fast, wicked fast, guys. So if you were wondering about the clutch boosting, this is, I don't even know what track this is. It's not Salt Lake, is it? Might be Salt Lake, I don't remember. But, I mean, you can see where the clutch boosting and preloading are an advantage on the quad. But it does have its disadvantages. That line, this is East Rutherford, that line was insane. It does have its disadvantages too, but I think it has a lot of advantages. So if someone tries to tell you that there is no clutch boosting on the quad, BS. There's massive clutch boosting on the quad, and I'm not complaining about it because I think it's fair, and even the way it kind of handles, it's so hard to keep control of the quad. People complain that the bikes are slippery and slick. The quad is even worse, especially if you're trying to clutch boost in first gear. So this is Las Vegas. A couple big lines here to wrap up the video. Thank you so much for the support on this series for as long as you have. The new game's coming out soon. Can't wait for that. Hope you guys are pumped. Leave a like if you're pumped for the new MX vs ATV All Out, and let me know down in the comments if there's something specific you want to see before we end this series. So you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support, and until the next video, take it easy.